Welcome to my channel. I'm Daniel Charles Williams. Welcome to my channel on the journey to a successful eBay business and a successful personal life. Because this is in this video is going to be a video that I'm going to try. I'm going to try to start to make videos like this with this content. Now, this video, and I got notes, that's why I'm looking over there. What is the truth behind going full-time on eBay or full-time with reselling? What is the truth behind that? Okay, you open up YouTube, you put a search in for full-time on eBay, and you get all these videos, and you have all these people talking about going full time, and what they pretty much they're gone full time, and they talk about all the things that they do, to go to full time, and all the benefits about going full time, and all this beautiful, lovely information on full time, and it just make it seem almost so easy to go full time as a reseller, right? Because you can go full time on Amazon, eBay. You can, whatever, sell your stuff on Craigslist, whatever it is, Facebook. I mean, it's plenty of platforms where you can resell, right? Obviously, eBay is one of them, and I'm just gonna kind of zone in on eBay because I talk about that. I mean, because I'm doing eBay, but so what does it take? You have this person. I remember I seen someone said, "Hey, you know what? I am going. This is my official day, and I'm going to go full time." Or you may have someone say, "Hey, you know what? I've been, selling on eBay full time, for a whole month, and, life is great," or whatever it is, right? I mean, it can go on with this stuff. I'm just trying to think of somebody specific so I can talk about, what it is. And then you had this, I remember this one, a lady, and she's talking about she went full time. She's been selling jeans, and she sell them for, she found all the high price jeans, and she sells them for ridiculous profits, and she makes like $4,000 a month or something like that, she was saying, right? And it's just so funny. And I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm just the situation. I'm just talking about the situations, and people say they're going full time, and they make it seem so easy, so easy to do, so achievable. Anybody can do it. So, what is the truth behind these things? Now, I'm not saying that no one can't go full time on eBay. Obviously, reselling eBay, yes, you can go full time. But when someone says that they're going full time, is that the whole entire story, right? When someone says, "I'm going full time," is that the whole entire story? Well, I have been, I have been reselling full time for, 3 months, 6 months, 12, whatever it is. Are they telling you the whole story? Most of the time, not, right? They're not telling you the full story because there's many reasons behind someone going full time, okay? There's many reasons behind. So you have to really think about it. Yes, you got to have, your strategy. You have to know where to source. You have to list your items. You have to ship your items. All those things you have to do, or whatever it is. Ship your items, or you might respond to an offer. You might meet up with someone to exchange, to sell your item. If someone was a seller on Craigslist, or Facebook or something like that. You can't ship. I mean, you probably could ship them out. I don't know. I'm not really familiar with those platforms, but you probably could ship them out. You probably can take a payment over PayPal or whatever it is nowadays, Cash App, whatever it is, and you can ship your item off to whoever it is. All right, so not impossible to do nowadays. Someone pays through an app, done. You can pretty much ship your item anywhere, put it in a envelope and ship it off. So you have many different options, right? And we'll have another video about that because my brain already is like, okay, yeah, I can make a video on that. Yeah, you can pretty much sell on any platform you want nowadays, right? With all the darn systems we have. But anyway, so if someone says, I'm going full time or I have been going full time, okay, you have to really think about what life situation are they in. Okay, so I have some notes. I'm gonna go look over here, and you have to really think about, number one, is that person telling the truth? You never know if they're telling the truth or not. At the time, you're probably just looking for good information. They probably provide good information and done. Okay, you don't know if they're going full time or not. But what you really got to think about is, if a person says they're going full time, they may be going full time. Okay, you may have an individual like myself who says, hey, you know what, I'm full time on eBay and it is great. I make X amount of money. But that person doesn't say, right, my spouse has a full-time job and is working, is providing all of the insurance that we need, is paying most of the bills in the house, and I really don't have any financial responsibility for myself, so I can go full-time. So a lot of times you don't get that information. So you have someone say, hey, you're going full time. You can go full time too. But do you have a spouse who's going to support the majority, of your responsibilities in life? Do you have that? So that's one of the things that will help someone go full time, because full time in reselling, because they have support already. Okay, they already have somebody supporting them. They can go full time in reselling. Because if they have a bad month, or they have basically a bad month, it doesn't matter. Or if their sales are slow, it doesn't matter to them. They can continue doing what they do. All right. So you got to look at you have to look at the realities of that, because that's not the case for everybody. Excuse me. You may say, hey, I want to go full time, but you don't have a spouse that is going to support you. You have to pay, you got to pay your monthly expenses. Can you pay your monthly expenses and go full time? That's the question you have to answer. So for most of us, no, we can't. So, that's that's the struggles and that's the obstacles that we face, when we say, hey, we want to go full time, right? The next thing is, almost very similar to that. You may have someone who, just to be honest, may live with their parents. May live with their parents, and living with their parents, they probably don't pay any rent, or they pay very, very little rent, and they can say, "Hey, guess what? I'm going to go full time," because their parents is helping to support them. So. And they don't tell you that, right? They're not going to say, hey, my parents is, basically I'm almost living rent free, so I can go full time. So my whole question is, do you have that support? Are you living with your parents? Are you living with someone? It doesn't necessarily have to be your parents. Are you living with someone that is going to, front your rent for you and take care of that part of life that majority of us can't escape? A lot of us can't live rent free or mortgage free. We can't. So if you can, then there's a good chance you can go full time, right? Because You generate X amount of money from doing your business, and that amount of money is what you need. You can live off that, right? You can take a little bit of money, buy some more inventory, take another little part of it, pay the other bills that you have, and you can just keep going, keep reselling without a hitch, right? So you have to really think about that. So that's not the case for everybody. Also, too, another thing. Some people may be retired. I remember I did watch I watched a channel with a gentleman who was retired from the police department, and he went to resell. Most likely he has retirement. Pension. May have, I don't know if he was 65 or whatever it is. He may be retired, have a pension, have Social Security. Guess what? That person can resell, right? Because, you know, he has very little, he has, I'm not saying he doesn't have financial responsibility, but he's getting a monthly paycheck that is helping with his everyday living expenses so he can go and resell. So my whole thing is like, you have to ask yourself that question. Do you have retirement, pension and Social Security that you are relying on, to support you so that you can go full time? Yes or no? You have to answer that question. Answered the one about, I answered the one, let me see. I answered the one about the rent, mortgage, retirement. I just said, some people may be, and I said retirement, same thing. Someone might be semi-retired. Someone may have some form of income coming in, and that may be retirement money. That might be disability. I remember somebody wanted to start, it was a Judge Judy show, which I watched, and somebody wanted to start a business. And they had this whole big idea how they wanted to start a business, but they was able to do that, right? They was able to do that because he was on disability, so totally disability, and obviously he couldn't do any, physical labor or anything like that, and he wanted to start an online business, and he basically got into business with someone else, and he had some disputes, but he had a pretty darn good idea, right? He wanted to sell jerseys online. He wanted to an e-commerce store. He wanted to start, and everything like that. But in his case, guess what? He had the time, obviously, because he didn't work, and he had the income, obviously, because he was on disability, and that's why he was able to do it. So you got to ask yourself that question: do you have those things? If you do have those things, if you have that financial support, guess what? I said you can probably go full time in eBay. If you don't, you probably can't go full time in eBay, right? So you can't go full time in eBay because the majority of your time is spent generating those monies you need to survive every month. So basically, you don't have the time to go full time, and you don't have the money to go full time. So, and it takes a lot, right, to go full time. And I'm not going to throw like exact numbers and digits. And I know there's a video out there on what you need to spend every month to make a certain amount of income. Well, if you are reselling, you're gonna quickly find out what it is that you need. All right, it's not going to be a mystery if you're reselling. So if you're reselling for several months or whatever it is, it might be a year, you're going to know what those numbers are, all right? Because it's very simple to find that number out. Very simple. It's not hard. You have a couple of months, and you'll figure out. And what you need to figure out is what your income is on your months that is not in the fourth quarter of the year, okay? It's a good way to determine because it'll give you a real accurate number, okay? So in those non-fourth quarter months, okay, you want to figure out how much income you generated for that month, right? Pick a month, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. You can figure out how much income you generated for that month, how much inventory that you have, and basically, and that's about it. I'm trying to figure out if I added in how much inventory I had to add, right? So you want to know how much inventory you had to replenish. Okay, that's a good, indicator also. But mainly, you want to figure out how much inventory you have and how much income that generated. Okay, so if you had, for instance, I'm just going to throw some numbers out there just to give you an idea of how to do it. So you had 500 items in your inventory. You generated $500 that month, right? So basically, having 500 items and keeping 500 items replenished, that's going to give you a net profit of $500. And I'm talking about your net profit now. I'm not talking about your gross, because gross means nothing to you when it comes to reality, right? You want to know what that net amount is. That means you paid all your fees, you take out your percentage for taxes, and you got your net amount, all right? So you got that net amount for that month. That is your income. That is your income, right? For that amount of inventory. So now what you want to do is just multiply that inventory, right? To multiply the income in the inventory by the amount of money you need to live, okay? So if you need $2,000 a month net to live, right? In some places can live off of $2,000. In some places you can't live off of $2,000. You never know. Some places you can live off of less. I don't know. But you have to figure out what that money is. So if you need $2,000, then that inventory has to go up, right? So that you can make $2,000. So if you have 500, inventory gives you $500 net. You basically want to go to $2,000 net, right? So 2,500, times 4 is going to give you 2,000. Okay. So basically times 4 will give you 2,000. 2,000 is what you need to survive. Now you take that times 4 and you multiply it by the inventory. Obviously your inventory is going to go up to 2,000, just to kind of make it like a fair calculation. You need $2,000 worth of inventory, 2,000 items, right? Just item wise. I'm not talking about dollar wise, because you already know, you have a idea of what you've been selling, in that list of that inventory generate the 500. So you don't really have to worry about the dollar amount. You just want to worry about the number. So, and this will give you a good idea of what you need. So 2,000 items in your inventory is going to give you what you need, which is $2,000 net per month, what you need to live. So that's kind of a good idea of how to figure that out, right? So I'm going to run that down real quick, just in case, I didn't explain it clear enough, because I know it was kind of jumping all over the place. But you can figure out how much, right, you need to live by this simple calculation. Pick a month, a fourth quarter month, right? So you get out of fourth quarter in, I would go with somewhere around February, March, April, May, June, any one of those months. All right. So people say, hey, you know what? You don't never sell anything if it's not in fourth quarter. That is not true. You sell as much as you put into the system is what you're going to get out of the system. So you do sell. And, I can tell you do sell. Fourth quarter, you do pick up. But any other months, you'll sell as well, as long as you're putting in the system. Okay. And you gotta understand the system. Okay. In most part of the states, when it's hot, guess what? selling jeans all day is probably not going to sell, you know, probably not going to sell. And I'll make another video about that. But anyway, pick one of those months. You figure out what your net profit is, and then you take that net profit and you times it by whatever it is that you make it to, you know, you figure out what it is that you need. So again, like say if you need $2,000 net profit, you take that $500 and you times it by 4 to get, right, 2,000. So then now you want to take that 4 and times it by your inventory, and that's going to give you the inventory what you need. In my case, it'll take me up to 2,000 units, or 2,000 items. I'm sorry, 2,000 items of inventory is what I need to generate $2,000 a month to live, right? And yours might be a different scenario. Then you know, okay, you need X amount of inventory to produce X amount of net income you need to live. So use that calculation, and then that way you can figure out what it is that you need to survive on. And I think that's just the you know, I think we don't really think about that. You know, we have to really, really work backwards when it comes to figuring out what we need to become a full-time reseller, right? So you need $2,000 to live. You know, you got to generate $2,000 worth of money, and you got to do what you got to do to get up to $2,000. So you need the inventory, and you need the manpower. And I not mean that you need, you know, multiple people, but you need to put in the manpower. So you can have a bunch of inventory like me. I have tons of stuff in my garage, but if I don't list it, right? If I don't list it on any of the platforms, it will never sell. It's doing nothing for me, all right? Sitting in my garage, absolutely doing nothing. So, you know, you have to do what you got to do to turn that inventory around so that you can produce the income you need to live, all right? So, all right, so I'm going to end it on that, and I'm going to have another video coming up pretty soon about really how to make everything work, all right, which is eBay, business, and life in general. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. Please like the video, comment below. Let me know what you think. If you didn't like it, say you didn't like it. If you liked it, say you liked it. It's all good. And I'm going to see you guys next time. Peace.